Welcome to the Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. For group exercise junkies and enthusiastic classgoers, we'll explore and uncover authentic, thought-provoking, and heartwarming industry education and inspiration from entertaining, badass fitness pros. And now your host, creator of Warrior Rhythm, Warrior Strength, Warrior Combat, Warrior Revolution, and Warrior Kids Group fitness brands, Ellen DeWord. Here we grow.
Welcome, everybody, to Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. Today we have Amy Boone Thompson in the house, and I'm so excited to have her. Amy, thank you for being here.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be here, and it took us a while to get this booked, but we did it. We are here together.
We did it, and I will say that I actually got a sub for my favorite class because I was not going to miss the opportunity to get Amy on my books. And yes, between her travel and my travel and our busy lives, I just wanted to get it in, and I wanted to get it in before IDEA. So I got a sub. That just means that you are so important to me because I don't want for anything.
Thank you.
So Amy and I were just chatting kind of before we started to record this episode about what I was saying, what I wanted to get out of this episode. And, I'm really excited to talk about Idea World. I'm very passionate about Idea World. And I also want to, I have questions. I've been going for years and years, but there's still things I don't know about it and how you operate and how it operates. So I'm excited to learn more about the Super Bowl of fitness events. I also know that you are going to give some value and some wisdom and education to our listeners, and I'm excited about the kind of topics that you're passionate about right now. And then finally, selfishly, I just want to hang out with you. So we're going to hang out.
Me too. I'm so glad to share space with you, but also with your audience. And my intention today is to just be present and share some of my experience with the audience, but also, like I said, what's in my heart right now that I think Fit Pros need to be hearing.
Awesome. I do want to brag about the audience. It's an pretty active, engaging, incredible. I mean, what would you expect from a bunch of group fitness professionals but a really positive, wonderful community. This is episode 31. Amy, I started these episodes actually accidentally in November of last year. I was going to try to launch in January, but I was figuring things out. This is kind of how I lead, by the way, figure out as I go. And I created my RSS feed and I was figuring things out, and whoop, I sent it out. I sent out episode 1. I was trying to bank 6 of them, and I accidentally sent it out, and it connected to the Warriors YouTube channel, which I know people are, so I knew I couldn't pull it back easily. So I was just I'm going. So every single Monday we have released an episode, and this is 31, and it's going so well. And I love this community and so happy to share you with them and them with you. So okay, I wanted to give a formal introduction of you just in case someone listening doesn't know who you are. So Amy's bio, sort of written in first person, is with over 30 years of experience in the fitness industry, I am passionate about empowering, engaging, and connecting professionals, brands, and club and studio owners globally. As the owner and CEO of IDEA Health and Fitness Association, the world's leading organization of fitness and wellness professionals, I deliver world-class content and continuing education to over 275,000 members across 5 publications, hundreds of streaming videos and courses, and 3 flagship conferences. I am also an award-winning leader, certified health coach, and media executive who has successfully launched, managed, and grown multiple fitness brands, magazines, and programs such as Oxygen Magazine, Idea China, Idea Korea, and Fit for Mom. I have a vision to inspire the world to fitness and wellness, and a mission to create positive change and impact in the lives of millions of people. I am always seeking to elevate and support others and to collaborate with like-minded partners and organizations. Fitness is my business. my purpose, and my passion. So I wanted to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just, when you read that out loud, it just reminded me the journey I've been on. So I'm so glad to be here and talk about that with you.
I know. And like it says millions, but like that is, it gives me goosebumps, but that is like, that's happening.
It's happening.
When you're in the lives of leaders who are impacting other leaders, who are impacting leaders and communities, it is happening. It's millions, that's not hyperbolic. Like it's millions. So I wanted to kind of paraphrase and tell the audience that I'm not sure like exactly when I met you, but I want to say to you sincerely, Amy, you are a powerhouse woman and a huge inspiration to me. You are someone I admire, not just because of your position and title and the power part of that, but because of this character that I have, even though we have not spent much time together, I feel this approachable, genuine, unpretentious leader. And it's so attractive. And I see that you have balance in your life. You have a family that is clearly like you're everything. And you're doing epic things in fitness because you just decided to be the one. Like we can as leaders or as people that want to be leaders in fitness, we can just let like other people step into those roles, or we can just decide like, no, it's going to be me. And it's like, you are just this powerhouse and you're so put together. And even in your countenance and your posture, it's just grace and beauty in every way. So
Oh, thank you so much.
honor me.
Thank you. That's very kind. Thank you.
So tell us, after all of that, from you, tell us about yourself.
Well, I had always hoped that was that I lead with character first. And I was taught as a very young girl that your character is everything in this world. And so when I was an athlete, it was about being, being coachable and really being a good human on the court and putting people above, the sport or breaking rules or throwing elbows or all that stuff. But when I started moving into the business side of the industry, I'm not going to lie, it's a mean world out here. And there's a lot of people that don't have your back, that are constantly trying to undermine or take advantage or throw elbows, if you will. And in business, it's really tough, especially in a male dominated industry like ours. But I've always believed that I have to show up as authentically me in every situation, and always lead with my moral compass, which is what I've always tried to do. So it means so much that you recognize that's the way that you see me, because that's exactly how I need to show up in this world, or I can't do this. I don't want to become, a stinker and become the elbow thrower.
No, it's very disarming and very, very attractive. So, well, tell us specifically, here's kind of the route I'm going to take you on.
Okay.
I want to hear about how you got into fitness, group fitness, and obviously you talked about being an athlete, so maybe that ties in. And then I do want to dive into IDEA and
Yeah.
all the things about it, lots of questions that I have, and then we'll kind of like conclude with some value that you have,
Okay.
tips and tricks that aren't related to the IDEA conference. They're just related
Sure.
to you who listen, who want to improve and grow as a fitness pro. So, okay, how did you
Yeah.
group fitness?
Yeah, so I went to college, and at the time there was no kinesiology departments in my university or any kind of exercise science program. So I was on a path to be a health and PE teacher, and I thought I could be a basketball coach. I was playing athletics, Division I. So while I was finishing my student teaching, I started working as an assistant strength and conditioning coach, which coincidentally is where I met my husband all these years later.
Okay.
And at the same time, I got my certified personal trainer certificate from NSPA. So if anyone knows, East Coast National Sports Performance Association, I think they're relatively small now, but I got my certification and I started personal training. Now, I was also bartending and I was also in massage therapy school at
Personal
the
training
same
and
time.
bartending.
Yeah,
Excellent.
it was
Okay,
awesome.
where were you? Were you on the East
Uh,
Coast? I thought you were
no,
a
yeah,
West Coast girl.
Northern Virginia. So I went to George Mason University and I got my first job in an all women's club in Chantilly, Virginia.
Okay.
And they've since gone out of business, but Florence Ald started that club. It was an amazing space and place. And it was interesting because at that time, so young in my career, I was, 24, 25, finishing college and starting this adventure. And I knew based on the way I felt about the work I was doing and how the clients responded to me and how they just showed up every day despite all their challenges and all their, disease and I had people overcoming such great odds and they just showed up for me and I would show up for them and we shared this energy and I knew then that this was the industry I wanted to be in. And I've never looked back. I've always found full-time work in this industry for over 3 decades now.
That is amazing. And I think we're actually going to circle back and talk about finding work and
Yes.
opportunities because they exist and they're out there and we can find them. Okay, so they're interesting. So there wasn't a kinesiology degree.
No, PE and health ed. Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
had okay, and you have
Yeah.
2 kids?
I have, yeah. So fast forward, I married that guy that I met and we moved to San Diego when we were in our 20s. And then I started working at the sporting club at Aventine. And that's actually where I started teaching group fitness. So
Okay.
that club, this beautiful club in La Jolla, we were on the same property as the Hyatt. So we would get to see people from all over the world. It was a hospitality club, really beautiful high-end club. But we had a huge group fitness program. And so I just started, it was very uncomfortable for me at first to teach group. I was much better in a one-on-one or in a two-on-one kind of situation. But I started teaching with basketball skills classes and at the time, agility training, which really was not a thing yet. And that got me more comfortable because that was my wheelhouse. And then I could start teaching other types of like athletic performance classes.
That's interesting that it's just opposite of me, that to me, the one-on-one personal training is what is uncomfortable.
Mhm.
But being up front is so comfortable. It's interesting that you went into it the other way around.
Yeah.
But when you started teaching Group X, you weren't teaching them the basketball agility and stuff. That was just what gave you kind of this
The confidence. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. So
and then like, what was it? Was it like step aerobics? Was it high low?
So, like we got trained on BOSU. There used to be, first physio ball classes. So we had all the physio balls and everybody had their own, and we did whole classes on a physio ball. Then we did BOSU. I never did teach step, although I was really getting very interested in mat Pilates, and I could see it was right when Pilates was introduced to mainstream health clubs. I could see myself going down that path, but then I got offered my first fitness manager job right at that time. And that's when I said, okay, I'm going to take this leap of faith and start managing trainers and Group X instructors instead of building my own business and growing my own skills. So that was one of those detours you take in life where you take that leap of faith.
Well, not even a detour. I mean, it was more like the next stepping stone.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but not focusing on building my own business anymore, but instead focusing on investing in all those professionals to grow their businesses.
Yes. Okay. So I'm waiting for you to fill in the gap between, here's how you started teaching, which I didn't know. And then you become a manager.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, what happens between that and then running and then owning?
Okay, so that's about 20 years of gap. So yes, it was an overnight sensation. 20 years in the making. So I'm 52 this year. So I've been at this since my 20s, which I just shared. So for many years, I was leading large programs for large club chains. There was a club chain in California called Club One. They acquired our single site, and then all of a sudden, instead of having one club, we had 26 clubs in California. So I found my way. I was a general manager in that time. I was overseeing the club. Then I moved into a national personal training director role. And then that led to, that was the time when I got married. I wanted to have babies. So I thought, all right, I'm going to go work with my friend who had just started a franchise called Fit for Mom, Lisa Druxman. And I went to work with her while I was very pregnant and having babies. I got to teach stroller fitness classes in the morning, and then I would go work in her business office in the afternoons, which was just incredible years for me to be a mommy and teaching with my babies.
And you're still associated with Fit for Moms.
Yeah, so Fit for Mom is again, it's Lisa's company, but I was her COO for a while. I helped run all the events. Love everything they're doing. If you are ever interested in teaching for a franchise like that, it's probably one of the most satisfying jobs I ever had, was to show up and teach mommies while the babies are in the stroller, but teach these mommies and watch the community come together. Again, it was one of those times where I just celebrated being a fitness professional because of the community that we can build. And especially in a group environment, that was pretty special times.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward, I moved to Colorado, took a similar job running a large club chain. That job took me on the road 85 nights a year with the little babies at home.
Oh,
So that was a trying time. My husband got to be with the kiddos, which was important to us to have one parent home. And I went on the road. I was a road warrior for many years.
oh.
But it was meaningful work and I absolutely loved it. I learned about scalability, how to take a program and not just have it be successful with one instructor, have it be successful in the whole club, and then pick that up and have it be successful in another club, through your marketing, your branding, the people that you choose to put in the teaching slots. We introduced small group training to our club chain at that time. It was a thing all of a sudden. And so now I had one-on-one experience, big class experience, and now I had everything in between from that brand. That was pretty special times.
Wow. I can see how all of these different vantage points and experiences have, I'm sure, helped you with where you are and what you do today. I remember that when I first started, or I had been managing group fitness programs for a while, and really just focused on my team, and that's it. And then I realized that I really needed to understand the whole club, like everything, all the operations, how the facilities manager, how he operates, how the restaurant operates, and how, the youth programs operates. I wanted to understand like all the different like cogs in the engine for me to be the best group fitness leader, because we were just a piece of this thing. And so that's on the micro, but on the macro, you're getting your fingers in, the personal training element, the group fitness element, the management element, the community element, the upskilling. I liked hearing you say that the piece in the Colorado job about helping clubs not just have like one rock star instructor, but like a galaxy.
Exactly.
Anyway, so Colorado, 85 nights a year on the road, your husband being super dad.
Yeah.
Then what?
I got fired.
What?
I got fired. Yes.
Oh my gosh. That could have been your confession. You got fired.
I'll hold that story, but I'll tell you the rest of that story. But what it did was it gave me a chance to reflect. And I said, okay, what haven't I done in the industry? And what am I looking for next? I felt like I'd repeated the same job in different companies. And so I was getting a little bit stale in that sense. I didn't want to go repeat that same process again. So I deliberately looked for a job that would give me global exposure and that would give me a chance to work on the supplier side of the business. And that's what I found with Les Mills. So
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Enter Les Mills. Wait,
Enter less
pause.
wolves.
Time out. Back to your bio and
Yeah,
your mission and vision.
yeah.
Was that already in you? Were you already like, were you always looking for the next better opportunity to reach the millions? Or is that something that is of late?
I knew at that point when I decided to become a manager, I recognized that I was making a shift in my career path where I could always go back and build a full-time business as a instructor and as a personal trainer if I chose. But I knew the impact one fitness professional can have.
Mhm.
And I knew that firsthand from the times I worked in Virginia and the time I built my business in La Jolla. I knew that one fitness professional can have this ripple effect. And at the time, we didn't have the internet. So I'm talking like one person can touch 100 members, one person can touch 200 members. And I saw this, like when you talk about operations and really understanding how the club works, like we are the energy, the nucleus of the club. We build those relationships and bring that energy and fun and life that clubs have. And we are their personality. And so knowing this, I knew at that point in time that if I could have more impact if I could develop a single fitness professional to reach more people. And then I could grow a whole team to reach even more and more members and people from the community. So to the short answer to your question is I knew in my mid 20s that I needed to have a bigger impact and it was going to be bigger than what I could do by training full time by myself or teaching full time. And that was how I was going to do it through other fitness professionals.
Yeah, and what I also like about that I think reflects on what I mentioned about your character is it does, because something I also am living is this like, I have these enormous goals to impact and change the world
Yeah,
through programming and through people. But I don't have to be the face of it.
that's right.
Like I guess there was a time where it was like, the glitter and this is about me and what accolades can I get so that my name or my face is known. And then the shift from like, no, no, I want the like, no, I want the ripple effect.
Yeah, the
I want
ripple
the
effect.
higher
Exactly.
purpose, the higher
Yeah,
purpose. And
yeah.
if that means more of a backseat, and then I found the irony is my true joy is like just elevating others is the
Exactly.
it's like it's more blessed to give than receive. It's that. It's,
Exactly. It's
it's that.
that. You're exactly right. Like the professionals that I've had an opportunity to work with in my career, I get to put them on stages way back then and even now. Like the people who would be on local news were my trainers. The Jorge Cruz, who's written 13 books and been on every national television show, he was my trainer. Keita
Yes.
Pelly was doing infomercials. Like my trainers got to be the stars and in front of the camera and that was I knew early on like I wanted to be the one behind them lifting them up and supporting them and giving them the microphone
Yes.
and I get to do that even more today with idea.
Maybe that's why I'm so drawn to you. I have a very similar mindset, and even and my situation is obviously a smaller scale than you, but in the same sense, like even in the way I write things, like I I want to say we and our, and I try to take me out of it. Or if there's uh, marketing materials that feature me versus feature one of my leaders, it's way more fulfilling to me to feature them. Or if like I have someone ready to take on the stage at a conference where I could do it, or I could give them that next opportunity, life-changing opportunity for them. I would rather step aside and let them come in. So anyway, that's yeah,
Um,
that's great.
I had a chance to go and train Oprah for 6 months. I had
What?
a chance to go live on a boat and travel through Europe and train Oprah. And I gave that opportunity to one of my trainers because it was in that time where I knew I had my guy, we were going to get married and have a family. And if I had taken that, we wouldn't have made, I don't think we would have, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? If you're meant to be, you're meant to be. But I just knew that that was not for me. It was for someone else. And so that's but you're exactly right. Like when you know the people you're leading and you know truly what their destiny is and what they're going to be so good at, a leader can't be selfish and take those opportunities for themselves. You want to always uplift the people you're leading.
Okay, so keep us going down. I want to hear when you
Yes.
started running Idea and then
Okay.
when you decided to buy it.
Okay, so I'm in Colorado. I'm in what I was considered my dream job because now I'm working with Les Mills. I've got my global exposure. I'm loving business development. I get to go in clubs all over the world and just talk about amazing group fitness programming. I get to teach instructors. I get to teach them how to run better group fitness in their businesses. So I'm living my best life, and I get a call from a recruiter. I was not looking for work, and the recruiter said, "You've been identified as the unicorn we're looking for that has all of these experiences in personal training, in group exercise, in mind body, in leadership. And we have a job that would require you to move back to California and move your family and run this company." And they would not name the company, but I was interviewing for it in Colorado.
Huh.
And so as I got closer to the interview, they finally revealed that it was for IDEA. And at the time, IDEA was owned by a private equity group that was based in Boulder. So I interviewed for the position in Colorado. And meanwhile, this was the year that it was 2019. So I was on my way to Idea World. We had decided that we were for sure leaving Colorado, and we thought Phoenix was going to be our place because it's a little more affordable than Southern California. At the time, we were like, okay, this works. It was a little bit of a compromise because we really wanted to be back in San Diego. Didn't know if I got the job, so we're getting ready to leave Colorado. I'm touring houses with a realtor in Phoenix when I get the call that I got the job. And by the way, the person, my real estate agent, was the wife of someone in the industry, so I couldn't tell them what it was either. I was like, "So I've got a really big job opportunity, and it's not bringing me to Arizona, unfortunately. So we have to conclude the tour."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that's how that happened. So that again, when I would sit back and think about like all the steps that it took me to get to that point for a job I never knew would be available at a time when I was at my happiest, which is also a lesson for the audience. If you're vibrating at a high level and you're doing the thing that you love, that is when typically the best things happen for you in your career. So that moved us back to California in 2019. And then the pandemic happened.
I was going to say, wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah. Oh, this is a funny tidbit. So at the time, there were about 35 employees at IDEA, and we had a 12,000 square foot headquarter office, which a lot of people didn't want to go to because the work culture in California was already like a work from home type of environment.
That's because of the 405. Took
Exactly.
people 2 hours to
Exactly.
get to work in California.
That's right. It was because of the traffic and it took away from quality of life. Everybody loved each other, but they just didn't want to be on the road for so long. So they hired me and they said, "Well, we really want you to like rebuild the culture in the office and bring everybody back to the office." So I'm doing Burrito Fridays. We're like having parties for every holiday. We're doing all the things. And then the pandemic happens and everything came to a screeching halt. So during the pandemic, we were sold to a different equity group. We went through an acquisition. We lost along the way. We kept losing people and we didn't replace them because the industry was upside down. We flipped all of our events to virtual, as everyone knows. Some people probably attended and they were great, but they weren't the same as in person. Publications were going down and down. The cost of paper was skyrocketing, postage skyrocketing. So publications themselves were becoming a more and more difficult business to be in. And then on top of that, our industry lost a significant percentage of our professionals. And I'm thinking about your audience right now. All of us had to find ways to make a living. And oftentimes that meant inviting people into your own living room or teaching in your own park with masks or whatever we all had to do to survive. it's just an incredibly difficult time to lead an association for fit pros and to try to be there to provide hope and leadership when all of us were so uncertain and had no idea, especially in California, when our clubs would reopen.
Yes. Yes. I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of us, the listeners, us, all of us who just found a way, found ways. And, on the off chance someone's listening that, fell off and stayed off, like, come on back.
Come on back, come back.
Yeah, I mean, part of my hope, I don't mean to like hijack your story,
That's
but
okay.
part of my hope, and as we dive into idea and then more with our episode today.
Oh my gosh, we better get to that
I
story.
know we do need to, but and this is so good. But I do want to like talk about virtual for just a second and the difference. I had the opportunity to be a virtual presenter for Beachbody as a kind of beta piloting virtual certifications in 2015, Amy. So this is way before the pandemic, which was a blessing because you know how we all sucked online at first. And so by the time the pandemic hit, I had that all dialed in tight, the lighting and the mics and all the tech. And also I also started my fitness business right at the dawn of the global pandemic too. I launched in January of 2020. So in the 3 months into this new like warrior fitness program, new format, new license free formats for gyms, and gyms are closed. So I feel it. I feel I've been on a similar journey, again, on a smaller scale, but I love virtual. And I'm good at it. I offer it. We offer it. Our warrior instructors offer it. I even like the convenience factor of it. I'm a fan. I think virtual allows us to meet more people where they are, both geographically and financially, and in so many ways. I think it's an important thing, and I'm a fan. So I want to preface it with I'm a fan. That being said, there is nothing. It does not compare to the power of an in-person whatever class, event, certification.
Happy hour, whatever.
Yes, exactly. Happy hour, exactly. It doesn't even yeah. I mean, and similarly, like one of the skills I like to teach instructors is how to face their classes and mirror, so that if they're on a conference or in a park or the mirror breaks or whatever, like they have the skill to be able to like face their students and teach. And sometimes in a certification, I'll get a little pushback because someone will be like, well, I want to, face the mirror. It's easier for people. And so I always say, I'm always in the front of the room when I'm saying this. And then I will turn, I'm facing them, talking to them about mirroring. And I will turn, I'll go from looking in their eyes, and I will turn and I'll look at them in the mirror. And then I'll look at them in the eyes again.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, do you see me? Like, I see your soul. And then I'll look in the mirror and I'm like, not so much. And we're still in person, but there's just a disconnect. And like, also, I lead virtual certifications, love them. Great offering if it works for you. And that's what you need. At the end of a virtual certification, I am exhausted because it's so much energy to try to be like, it's like 10xing my personality. My face hurts because it's such an energy expenditure to try to connect with these people in their homes. And I'm doing the best I can. But then at the end of an in-person training day, I'm just like, what? Like I feel so much energy because I'm receiving. It's this reciprocity of energy and flow. Anyway, so when it comes to idea, which we're going to get into, I really want, and this is something I want to say at the end of the episode, not right now, but I want our listeners to think, look at your calendars, look at flights, look at the hotels while they're still early bird, because there is nothing like there is nothing like, you heard Amy's bio. I resonated with her bio. You resonate with her bio. We all want to affect the world. We all want a sense of purpose. We all want to change lives. That's the common denominator of everyone listening. And there's really nothing that charges you up and makes you better equipped and more excited about it than an in-person event, especially one of this magnitude. Plus, the industry needs us.
That's right.
Not only do we need that, but they need us
That's right.
and our support. They need us. Like, we need to give back to an industry right now. I know we're talking about the pandemic. I'm so sick of talking about it, but
Yeah.
it is our reality. We're still trying to come out of that,
Yeah.
especially with live events. And so it's time for us to give back and to show up.
Right. That's right.
So, okay. Anyway, back to
100%.
virtual. So are there there's no more offices there, right? Like now you guys.
Oh, so I'm sitting in our headquarters actually. It's our equipment warehouse. So we have a couple of offices in the front, but we downsized from 12,000 square feet to 1,200. We had 35 employees at the time. Now we have 8 full-time employees.
Okay.
So a lot has changed. We no longer print magazines. Everything's digital. We needed to go to a completely digital facing company. But I just really quickly, before we move on to Idea World, this is a good segue. So this was going on. I was still just the VP of this company. It had its own ownership group, and every week we'd have meetings with the boss. And most businesses were really, really struggling. Idea was no different for all the reasons I laid out. And so we had that conversation, what's next for Idea? And I literally jumped out of my chair on a Zoom call and said, it's me. It's always been me. Will you please sell me this company? Well, I didn't know how. I still don't know how. Like, I'm learning all of this with boots on the ground. But I just knew if Idea had any chance to continue to survive, it had to be me. I was put in that chair at that point in time for a reason. Idea, I joined in 1997 when I moved to California. I've attended every Idea World except the 2 years my kiddos were born. I wrote for the magazines. I've taught classes for Idea. It's been my community, my fitness family, my platform for reaching more fit pros. And I just, in that moment, I knew if I didn't say something, do something, it was going to erode. It was never going to exist again.
It's
So
always been.
that's when I felt called to step forward. And so I feel like, well, I'll share more about this in a minute, but again, I lead because I am a fitness professional. I am a certified health coach. I keep my credentials. I watch the courses we produce. And I look across the industry and I see so much new money and new equity groups and new business models coming in. And it's great because we're booming and people are looking for more solutions, but very, very, very few of them really have ever stepped in your shoes or in my shoes. Very few of them even know what happens in their own facilities or clubs. They don't know about the energy. They don't know about what we're creating and the experiences and the magic.
No.
And I feel like, again, that's why I was called to be here at this time, is because I am you. I am all of your listeners. I am an instructor. I am a professional.
And we are the heartbeat of the club.
That's right.
And owner operators, again, very male driven on that level. I know I go to Ursa, I see the sea of men. Very male driven, but yeah, they need to know that we're the heartbeat, we're the glue,
right.
we're the stick.
Right.
Like, yes, there's attrition, but not from the people that go to group fitness classes.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. How do you want to go from here? Because I want to talk about, because the reason I'm like torn is because you're saying some things that I know are going to tie into your message, like about having the confidence, like you saying, it's me. It has always been me. I'm made for this. I was born for this. My time is now. And you're talking about vibrating on a higher level. So do you want to go into your confidence and then we can talk about some cool things going on Idea at the end? Okay.
Let's do that. So in preparing for speaking to your audience and really what's in my heart right now for fitness professionals is that I just feel like, first, we're very hard on ourselves. For some, it's difficult to get in front of a group and to lead, whether you're with a new format or it's not your comfort zone, or if you are very comfortable, you still are. It's a difficult grind, and to be putting yourself on a stage to be criticized or judged or whatnot, I feel like oftentimes that takes a toll on us as leaders, and that we're too self-critical. We judge ourselves way too hard. And so I want to say to all of your listeners, just always remember to be kind to those coming in the room, but more importantly, to yourself. Be kind to yourself because guess what? We're all human at the end of the day, and none of us are perfect. And just because you were in a group instructor role and you get to lead this group, it doesn't mean you don't have your own demons and your own challenges. And it was hard for you to get out of the house that morning, and that I just want to offer, please, please, please always put yourself first. Be kind to yourself. And that will allow you to show up with an intention of being kind to others in the room. And I want to double down on what you said about looking at your class. You never want to be the instructor that gets on stage and says, look at me, look at me. You always want to be the instructor that says, look at you, look at you. You showed up today. Congratulations. Like, look at you.
I've heard you say that before, and I think it's when I fell in love with you, actually. I know it is. It was that moment. You said that, and I say that. Like, I know when it was on a webinar, and it was like Jamie Nichols and Janice
Yeah. The events one.
It was the events one, and
Yes.
you said something that has come out of my mouth so many times, but you didn't know it's come out of my mouth. You'd never heard me say it. And I'm like, oh, I say that. But I really was the instructor. When I started teaching, I was so cute. Like, I was so cute. And I was like, I'd had my babies, and I was like, I was kind of getting finally good at group fitness because I didn't start good. When I started, I wasn't very good. I was getting good, and everyone wanted to be in my class, and I was so pretty. And like, I really entered the room like, look at me. Look at, like, that was my energy and aura. And I was like, look at my cute little skirt I'm gonna work out in, and look at it, thank God it shifted, and life, and just maturation.
Yes.
That self-centered lens just fell from my face, and like, when I started to turn it and really, really, like, from my core, it really it just stopped being about me. It started, and then that's when I became a great instructor.
Yeah, that's right.
That's when it happened.
You'll fill classrooms. Don't get me wrong. Being cute, there's nothing wrong. You will have a law of attraction. You'll fill classrooms. People want to look like you. They want to move like you. You got it together. Like, there still is a law of attraction. But the very, very best instructors in this industry are the ones who can take it to the next level. That's when you connect with people to their soul. Yeah. That's when people feel better about themselves when they leave the room, not just feeling like, wow, Ellen's so amazing. I want to follow her. I want to be like her. But they leave the class and they feel like they are a better human. And to me, like, that is the next level of what we can do as instructors. When I talk about reaching and inspiring millions of people, the instructors who really get that are the ones who have the biggest ripple effect.
You just reminded me of something else. I think it was my first year presenting for Idea Under You. You offered for the presenters to go to this like speaker, like skills.
My speaker coach. Yeah. And
I loved her so much, but she said something that, I mean, literally that night I was like, I'm back in my hotel room, like, I'm doing it differently. I'm doing it differently tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. But she also like intonated on the same point, kind of. She was like, you can never be an effective speaker if you don't know exactly who is in those seats. Like, who are they? Who's in the room? And so it totally changed me. Even when I'm leading a session, I'm like, who are they? Are they trainers? How long have they been teaching? Is this their first idea? Like, are they nervous? What, like, I want to know exactly who's in the room. Do they already teach functional training? Do they like yoga? What is their story? And I try to find all that out, like, while they're showing up. And then I feel like I can actually talk to them because it's there you are instead of here I am. So it's on any level, like but for the group fitness instructors listening, it's the there you are. Before you go into Idea, I did want you, if you have the time, Amy, to talk about like making a career out of you've been in this for 30 years. I've been in this for 24 years. And I too, like, have a full, I've pieced together, I've found a way, like, we can have a we can have a career in fitness.
Yes, I'd love to. So, first of all, there are so many more jobs in our space now that would be a traditional job, but in a health or fitness environment. So, there's accounting, there's business, there's HR services, there's marketing. So, you could have those expertise and work in a healthy setting, a gym like-minded company. But the way I always advise people, if you're starting part-time and you're trying to, give up at that job that you're really not passionate about, start doing other things in the club that fill your bucket, things that lift you up. So for me, it was when I was personal training and I started doing these agility trainings, and I would start basketball and volleyball leagues because we had a court. I made money, the club was happy, they made money, and I was at the club more making friends, and I got inspired by the people there, and it led to another opportunity. But if you find purpose and passion within what you can control, what you can do, you'll continue in your path, taking one step at one foot in front of the other without even really realizing it. All the while, you're getting further and further from that job that you dislike until you can start filling your hours with the things that really help you to feel like you're working toward your life's mission.
I played basketball too, by the way.
Yeah,
Obviously a guard.
yeah,
Um, but when I had confidence, when I was like doing well, I was like unstoppable. Like at a practice or at a game. Like confidence affects performance so much. And the flip side, if my confidence was shaky, I didn't perform well. And it's the same in our industry, it's the same in group fitness, it's the same in our classes. And I do think we can do a lot of self-talk and evaluation. And like one thing I like to tell instructors is like, look at what you just did, whether it was you led a training or you taught a class or you whatever, look back and acknowledge something that you did that you would like to improve on. But one thing, you cannot pick yourself apart and pick 10 things, just like one thing that the next time you teach, you're going to try to do differently, but then pick a couple things that you did really, really well. Like confidence really affects how we show up in the world and what we manifest and how high we end up vibrating, to use your word from earlier, like, and how people perceive us, which again, it's like confidence and high vibration begets more confidence and high vibration. So
move in that direction, move in the direction of the things that help you vibrate at that higher level, that help you feel some kind of way that you're enjoying the work you're doing. Keep moving in that direction. Let's face it, if I go back through my resume, most of the jobs that I applied for, I did not have the expertise, but I stepped into that. I learned the job. I showed up passionate, and I showed up, and I kept showing up, and I kept showing up, and it kept moving me in the right direction. And sometimes I did have to piece together 5 jobs, like I said, out of college, but other times, things start to flow in your direction if you really are moving forward with confidence and with that passion that's deep inside of you.
And to kind of thread the needle here, attending IDEA is a confidence.
Yes,
you show up differently. You show up after an event like this with a different level of confidence, new words, new ideas, and so let's talk about the event. So what can we look forward to? I know some ways it's going to be a little bit different this year, like a little more niche to specialty tracks, and like I know that we might be out of time for you, so take as long or as little as you'd like.
Okay, it's okay. Actually, I don't have anything behind this, so I'm good as long as your audience is still involved. Okay, so Idea World. So for someone who's never attended, I will tell you, just like we said, there is nothing like being in the room with thousands of fitness professionals just like you that are there to step out of their business, to step out of their class and learn the next best and up level and just turn it loose, right? Like, let's celebrate together and learn together. So there's 4 days of education, plus you can add pre-cons and post-cons if you're looking to get a new certificate or specialty. And then we have 2 days of the Fitness and Nutrition Expo. So this is with all the exhibitors bringing their latest innovations, apparel, nutrition, all the goods to the hall. And this year, we are doing a little different format with some of the activities. So if you've attended before, we usually kick off with an opening ceremony in the middle of the day. We're flipping that. We're making it a night gala, and we're doing a whole awards ceremony. We're doing the welcome party is going to be a fit and fabulous Hollywood glamour theme. So I suspect many people will be coming in costume and or all the Hollywood glam. We literally, you wake up at 5, you start working out at 5:30 or 6, you work out and take lectures all day long. You're barely like getting nutrition in because you're always on the go. And then we dance all night. Like it really is the very best. And then you get to sleep and you wake up and do it all over again. It is, as we've both shared, it's been life-changing and career-changing for me. Every single year, I treated it like a job. So I would go with an intention to meet a specific presenter or to take a specific class where I needed expertise so I could grow my business. I was always very deliberate with selecting my sessions or walking. I called myself the trade show hoe because I had to walk every single booth and meet the people in the booth. But guess what? Those people are my colleagues today, and they have gone on to run other companies. And it's the relationships that I've built over these years that keep continuing to give me blessings in the industry. So it's above all, you're building a community and you're networking.
Literally, which ties back into you can make a living in fitness, even if you're
Yes.
putting together multiple hats, because it is true. It's who you network with and who you know. And I would not be where I am in fitness today, but for the people that have cracked open some doors for me. And then I meet some other people in those rooms that crack open some more doors. And that just keeps happening. That's still happening today. And it's the networking is unbelievable. So
Unbelievable. We're doing casting and auditions. So whether you're a hiring manager or you're looking for talent, that's new this year. You have to go to ideafit.com, go to our events tab and look at Idea World. There are pages of the program Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You'll see all your favorite presenters, including Ellen. You'll see everybody that you've always adored or looked up to in the industry. Those are the presenters, but guess what? They're all accessible and down to earth, and they want to connect with you. You'll run into them in the elevator and you'll be like, that's my mentor. That's the person I've always, Billy Blanks, Tony Horton, like all the hi.
I know, I don't know where she came from. She just jumped in the lap.
Yeah, so all the people we've looked up to in the industry for so long are there, and then just like you, they want to connect with you. Like they want to connect with you.
We're just us. We're just us. We're just,
Yes.
we're all cut from the same cloth.
That's right.
I mean, there's so much beautiful diversity, yet cut from the same cloth.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I want to share about World. It is life-changing and it is career-changing, and you have to be in the room. We don't do this virtually, Idea World. You have to be in the room.
And if we had more time, we could spend longer on this, but I do want to say that it is like one of Amy's changing things. Like, I mean, it's not something I've talked to her about, but like she's new to taking over the reins of it. Like we heard since 2019. And so when new leaders come in, they shake things up and have their own goals and visions and for the direction that the company's going. And so it's an exciting time in that respect. It's a new era in the fact that we're coming out of the global pandemic. Like it is a new era. And they are doing some things differently this year.
Yeah, lots of things.
With the tracks. And by the way, it is in LA, July 10th through 14th.
Yes.
But it's not always in LA. So it does kind of bounce Vegas, the Anaheim area, San Diego area, and LA. So I know I was going to tell you, Amy, that I don't know how this happened. I don't know how this happened, but it happened with our community of warrior instructors. They like to go, like they really, really, really like to go to events. So I tell them that Idea is our, like, I can't get her to come off me. I'm trying, and she's drooling on me. So if you're watching on YouTube, She's literally
This
my
is
cat.
great
Sorry.
video content.
Yes, she is. If you're listening on audio, my Bengal cat climbed on top of me. I cannot detach her at the moment. She's stuck. And
Clung to you and she's drooling. I love it.
I literally tried to lock her out. So I guess she
It's
opened
like,
the
Mommy, it's snuggle time.
I know. She's like, you have been podcasting for a long time.
Yes, we have.
But anyway, I tell our team that idea is the summit. Like I call it that for us. So I as a leader, and I would encourage other leaders to do the same. I use it as an opportunity to get my leaders together. Like, why not anywhere else but there? So I encourage my master trainers to come. Sorry about my shirt.
Okay.
I encourage them to come, and then we do some like our own like team building there, and team dinners and scavenger hunts or whatever. And we do photos. You know, I bring a photographer everywhere I go. Speaking of social media, so I really try to use it as an opportunity to do some team building for my brand. I would encourage other leaders, and that doesn't just go for format leaders like I am, but also managers. Like if you are a club manager, bring your team, bring your staff. And then also if you're a club manager, owner, operator, bringing, you know, some of your team, send them onto different tracks.
Yes.
Have them take their notes and then come back and compare so that you're all learning different things, or do the same things and team build together. So that is like, you'll see us there. We have a island booth. So if you're interested in seeing our formats, if you've never seen us live at an event before, because we have people listening to this podcast from like 40 different countries. So if you haven't met us, we are the loud, we laugh loud, we talk loud. We'll be making a big scene. That's what we do. We make some waves. So we'll be doing demos. I'm presenting our 3 sessions, but I'm excited. There's also this leadership summit that we're doing that's like a moving panel. There's so much going on. There's like you said, the casting call opportunity and space is limited. So I guess my call to action for our audience, I want to be known as a leader that supports idea. And I think it is time for our leaders that support idea. And I know that's a lot of you listening. It's time for us to rally and say it's time to give back. The industry and events need our leadership to give back. And in doing so, you know, it just fills our cups till they overflow. So I guess we are going to have a special code for our listeners that you can take an additional $50 off, and you can stack that on top of the early bird pricing, which expires June 21st. And so when we release this episode, you will have a week. You'll have a little bit of time to get in there, get the early bird discount, stack our special code, which I'll drop into the show notes, and then come meet Amy and I there.
Yes, and I want to meet everybody. That's my favorite thing, is to walk around and meet people there. So please, if you do come, please say hi, grab me, make sure to say hi. I would love to meet you.
Okay, and you have to leave us with a confession.
Okay,
so you got fired from your job.
No, I'm going to do a different one because you already got that one. So what I will tell you, this goes with the theme of what we've been talking about. I am not comfortable being the face of idea. It takes me like 20 recordings to put out content. But I know that I need to step into this moment, and I need to be relatable, because idea it isn't about me. I think that's what I want to tell the audience too. Yes, I own the company today, but I really do think of myself as its guardian, and it has to be here for 40 more years. And so I am not always comfortable being the face of the brand and doing things like this, but I do it because I'm so incredibly passionate about this platform and this association, because between all these in-person events, we connect fitness professionals all over the world to help you be better at your job and stay in this industry so that we can reach more people.
Millions.
Millions.
All of us together, millions. And we're not just selling mascara, we are changing people's lives
from the inside out. or the outside in, either way.
That's right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Amy, thank you. It was such a pleasure to hang out with you and hold you hostage.
Good. Thank you for hanging in for this long, long podcast, everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for joining in on the Confessions of a Group X Instructor podcast. If you're interested in becoming a warrior instructor, go to warriorinstructors.com. But if you want more and found this episode amazing, please give us a rating. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode. So remember, be brave, be bold, be blessed. And above all, listen, learn, love.